right, guys, what's up? How you doing? My name's Alec Riano, and this is episode 1 of Chili Podcast. I'm here today with Thomas Williams at Truzy. Thomas and I have known each other for a long time, worked together in the Navy, we're roommates together, and we have some interesting conversations. So we take a lot from it. We thought we might as well just share it with the rest of you guys. So here we are. Thomas, how you doing?
I'm doing well, and I'm glad we're finally at this point because I feel like it's an avenue that is discussed among people a lot, and this is our first step in that towards that direction, and we always invite people to join the conversation as well. But let's get this thing going.
For sure. So today, we went surfing the other day, we were talking, we came up with this idea of talking about mediocrity, and kind of how that translated to us and then in society, how we see it every day. And we kind of have our own perspective. You just starting your new life out of the Navy and stuff like that. So kind of want to talk to you about that and get the ball rolling, see what we got. So
for sure,
mediocrity, definition of mediocrity. So of only moderate quality or not very good. What's your take on mediocrity? How do you perceive it, and how is it involved in your life, if involved at all?
Sure. So I think when you discuss the definition of something, it's always important to understand the context of how someone's defining a word or how they're perceiving it. Everybody has a number of different realities that define a word for themselves. For me personally, mediocrity is a word that have used in the past, and I'm sure we'll use in the future, but what it means to me currently is we all have the same amount of effort to put forth into something. That being said, I don't know if everybody puts forth the same amount of effort in whatever avenue it may be. And if you aren't putting forth that maximum amount of effort, to me, that would be considered mediocre.
Yeah, for sure. So, for me, especially, it's kind of crazy now because I just recently started taking hold. And when I say taking hold, meaning I'm kind of hard charging now. It's seeing the world in a new perspective. But not saying I was a mediocre person or but in a way, I kind of was. I wasn't really. I was happy with what I was doing. I was, it was easy income. I was good at doing it. But at the end of the day, I wasn't striving for any personal ambitions. I work out or try to read, educate myself and so forth. But in kind of a way, it's kind of living a mediocre life. And I was kind of wondering, maybe we could kind of expand on how mediocrity. We see all these people, right? They're living their lives, but they're just letting lives take them. They're living mediocrity to the T. So
accomplishing a task after task after task may feel like you're applying yourself to your full potential, but at the culmination of all those tasks completed, are you further along, or are you further along and progressed from where you started, or are you still where you started, but you have just completed a bunch of tasks?
Yeah.
And I think, both of us just transitioning out of the military, looking back at it, I feel like I was completing a bunch of tasks, and I was really good at completing a bunch of tasks, but I wasn't developing myself to its full potential.
For sure.
I give credit to my military experience, to the perception that I have on the world, and the accumulation of my professional skills, and I'm very I hold a lot of gratitude towards that experience and towards the military. But that being said, out of the military, I'm experiencing how I can apply myself fully. And in hindsight, I do view myself and how much I applied myself as mediocre. But that's only in hindsight to where I see where I am currently and where I was before.
Yeah, you're striving to a higher goal,
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's probably one of the keys too with people, that wake up and realize, they're just they're settling for what they got, or they're just, they wake up and they know there's something missing, but it's not there, and they realize they're not living life to the potential that they want to. And I think that's, like you're saying, setting goals and kind of moving step, no matter how small or big they are, moving forward with that, whether it be, waking up earlier, doing that, or something more major to starting their own company.
Exactly. And so there's a few things that I base my definition around, and it's setting an intention, right? Having a vision, developing a mission to achieve that vision, and then having some philosophies in place to keep you in line with, to keep you going in the mission towards the vision and accomplishing the goals. Mine is, I believe you are a manifester of your own outcomes. So if you have the vision of something and you're not, you have the vision and you can internally feel that if you're not going towards those opportunities that are being presented, that are guiding you towards that ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And for example, this podcast right here is something that may be a little uncomfortable to start with, but it is an opportunity. It's something that we discussed. We put it out there. We had the vision. Now we're developing the mission and having our philosophy to guide us through that mission. And this podcast is the first step into that, into that vision. This is the first step in the mission. So just to give you an example of, if you have a thought and it is something that intrigues you, that's you setting your intention. Okay, you have the vision. How are you going to get there? It's going to change along the way. Everything's not going to be stay set in stone.
For sure.
Different opportunities will provide themselves to you, but it's taking advantage of those. And even if it feels a little nerve-wracking, or there's a level of uncertainty, it's a big enough step if you're a little nervous.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my own personal package. And if you aren't applying yourself and your full potential to those opportunities, then in my definition, that is being mediocre.
Yeah. So, like people doing the bare minimum when it comes to work and not really striving to achieve anything. Now, so maybe you can help me relate more, because you're kind of more involved in civilian side with doing business than I have recently anyway. What have you noticed when it comes to people being mediocre in the Navy versus people that, out in the civilian world that are being mediocre?
So there is the term mediocre gets thrown around a lot in the military. Yeah. Because it takes all hands at full capacity to do something and to do it well. So if someone's not pulling their weight, they get called mediocre. And it's identified as that. In the real world, I guess, or the civilian world, I try not to identify people as mediocre until I have a conversation with them and get to know who they are. Because, again, going back to the context piece, are the things that they're striving for in their vision, are they tangible things or are they intangible? Are they making steps progressing towards their mental health and their overall well-being and how they perceive the world, and they're putting their full capacity into enjoying their life? Or are they putting their full capacity into checks in the block because their vision is to have tangible things and a nice house and a good job and things that you can physically see? So I try to suppress the initial reaction of calling somebody mediocre, because I don't see them on my own. I don't see them on my own frequency of at the direction that I'm going. Doesn't mean they're not applying themselves fully. So
now,
a little different.
Yeah. Now with that aspect, like, what have you noticed with? I'm sure this is probably more obvious once I say, but like, what do you notice? How do people in the military that maybe doing mediocre at their job, or they are mediocre, versus people that in the civilian world, like, how do you think that translates, so to speak? Like, how are those people doing in the Navy versus in the civilian sector?
I'm trying to initially just like think back to how I would identify someone as mediocre in the military, and it would just be someone that doesn't really contribute to the chores of the day, if you will. The little checks on the blocks you have to do every day to find it a successful day, and some people that don't contribute to that out of their own drive instead of being asked to help, I would feel like they were operating in a mediocre capacity. And then how do those, I don't know if I've been out of the Navy long enough to see those people transition and to see eventually how they turn out into the real world. But I would, if they don't have a mental shift in applying themselves towards what they consider their vision, then they're going to have the same outcome. And maybe that's okay for them. But to me, not applying yourself fully every day to do something, I think is, again, being mediocre. But it's not easy. And, at the end of the day, you have to constantly remind yourself to, and that's where the philosophy comes in. It's a guide to keep you on your mission to the vision.
For sure.
And developing those little mantras and falling back on those, because you are going to be challenged along the way, and it takes a lot of effort to stay focused.
Yeah, and just be driven, for sure. Yeah, and that kind of leads into like the conscious and subconscious state of being mediocre, and like we're kind of talking about people that just let the lives go by and they're content with what they haven't, but then they start to realize, 4 or 5 years down the road, and they look back and they could have done something better. They should have done this or that, or regretting,
exactly.
Or like the nullification of life. Life kind of sucks sometimes, and that's how life is. So, some people, they get kicked down, and that's what they expect out of their life, and they don't try to move themselves forward. So I guess when it comes to figuring out how to excel yourself and excel your life and kind of break past that barrier.
For sure. And for me personally, it was, and I practice every day to continue this, it's identifying things, finding the beauty in things, for example, or finding humor in things. And that in turn has made my perception of my reality a lot more positive. And regardless of the outcomes on my endeavors, I'm now developed this practice to be able to find happiness in things that aren't necessarily tangible, right? So I'm on the pursuit to acquire tangible things, right? I like nice things, but I have my vision's pretty grand, and I want to make an impact in other people's lives, and I have a couple avenues to do so. But I go off the quote, one of my little mantras that I use is, be the change you want to see in the world. And if you practice that every day, then when you explain it to somebody, it has a lot more impact than just regurgitating something you've heard somebody else say. You have your own experience and your own story to define that meaning, right? Be the change you want to see in the world.
For sure.
And it's not easy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there's definitely no quick ticket to succeeding in life or getting over tough times, or like it's going to take work, and most importantly, like you're saying, you need to believe in yourself when doing it, and you need to put forth the effort to do it. And then, like every day, it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult to kind of break past a barrier. Sometimes it's going to suck, like really suck. But you find those small victories in what you're doing, and you find your mantra, or you find your key, or something that keeps driving you, and you just keep going. And that over time, we kind of talked about this in other events too. Like over time, you may be like, damn, I really haven't completed that much. But as the small tasks build and build and build and build, you end up looking back and you realize you finished half the marathon.
Exactly.
Because life is a marathon. Depending on your goals, it's not going to be a sprint. There's no end all
quick
be
fix.
all to figure everything out. So that's good to
But I do believe mindset is everything.
For sure, 100%.
You can put yourself into any mindset you want to at any time. You happen to be a human being and you have control. So it's playing around with that. And that's what I find amusing is experiencing myself and my emotions, listening to them. And are they going to affect how I perceive the rest of the world? No, because I practice to find happiness, even when the emotions are right in the opposite direction.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not easy, and I invite people to the challenge.
Yeah.
Because once you get good at it, it's very rewarding.
Yeah, for sure.
And humans are supposed to feel good. You're not supposed to feel bad.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a practice. But if you aren't practicing something to go somewhere, either in tangibles or non-tangibles, again, to me that would be mediocre, because you do have an incredible amount of capacity. It's very surprising once you start tapping into that and trusting how much capacity you actually have. It's really surprising what you can do.
Yeah, I am a true believer in that. That if you put in the effort, you put in the work, that you can control your destiny, and that may kind of go against other beliefs and stuff like that. But for me, I believe if you put in the work, you grind every day, you hustle, and you do what you need to do to get it done. Eventually, it may not be right away, and it may take a span of years, and
exactly,
it'll happen. And then with that positive mindset, it's real easy to get, like we're talking about, get sucked into the negativity, and like I noticed that recently, like with this whole shift in my mindset, just because I started to realize how many more opportunities there are, out there,
I've seen it, and you've been doing really well, by the way.
Oh, appreciate
That's
that.
awesome. I mean, you made this happen, and it's not an easy thing to do, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think that's also another key thing. That's one way to help combat mediocre. Like if you realize you're living life and it's going by you and you're tired of it, sit down, take a second of self-reflecting, really think about what you want out of your life. And if you don't know, then try whatever interests you and keep shifting as necessary until you figure it out. But take baby steps, and eventually I feel like you'll kind of wiggle your way out of the weeds, so to speak,
Sure. And I just want to bring to light some of my personal challenges that I've had with actually going down the path that I want to go down. The first one was getting out of the military.
Yeah.
No one that was around me wanted me to get out of the military. My family and friends, they really didn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. The military pays you well. It's job security. You can retire in 20 years.
For sure.
It's a good experience. I had a great time being in the military. So why would you walk away from that? Well, I didn't want it anymore. I didn't really necessarily know what I wanted. I had a passion in hydrogen gas, and I was pursuing that. But there was a lot of uncertainty, and
of course.
I took a step in what I considered the right direction, at least what I wanted, and against everybody's advice.
Yeah.
And it takes that if you want to do what you truly want to do, because it's you. But
exactly.
And then even getting out of the military, going down the path that I'm going down currently, with starting to get into the industrial hemp side of things. People looked at me again and was like, well, how are you going to do that? Or why are you doing that? You have something good already, and it provides for you. And, well, it's what I feel that I need to do. And I had the vision, however long ago, when I was still in the military, that I wanted to make a change in the avenues with hydrogen gas as a medical therapy and hemp as an industrious alternative.
Yeah.
Now these opportunities are presenting themselves. There's a level of uncertainty, but I'm still continuing down that path because it's the vision I had. And I believing that manifesting your own destiny, right? I had the thought, I put it out there, and now it's being reciprocated in these fashions.
For sure.
So even though it's uncertain, people may not see the vision that you had. It's important to take advantage of those opportunities, because it'll eventually get you to where you think you need to be, or where you want it to be. So that's kind of the path that I'm on currently. I've made some good steps, but I'm still going.
For sure. You're always going to be going, I believe I'm always going to be going anyway. I'm never, I might be 50-year-olds sitting fat and happy on my balcony, doing whatever. I'm still going to be striving for something. There's something that's going to keep you going. And I think keeping that mindset is going to help you get there, and help you excel and kind of break that chain of mediocrity and that trend, or out of that funk, so to speak, if people see mediocrity as a funk.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the biggest takeaway from this would just be, for anybody that's listening, that I understand personally that it's not easy. So if you find yourself being challenged, that means you're doing it the right way. It's not easy to get going in a direction that's not the direction you're currently going. Equal and opposite reactions, right? You have to try equally as hard to stop going somewhere and then propel yourself back in the other direction, or in a direction that you want to go.
For sure.
So,
and I think
stay focused.
Yeah, for sure. And I think with that, a lot of people do rely on those outside opinions to shape their lives, and that also kind of comes bringing into mediocrity. Like that is mediocrity's way of kind of bringing you in and making you do what it wants, and then you kind of, like we've already said multiple times over, kind of like a broken record, but your life just goes by, And I think you just got to wake up in the mirror, and the only person you really need to care about is yourself and your intentions, and as long as you're doing what you believe is good. And
I'm glad you said that, because if you do see somebody trying to make a change in what they're doing, support them.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
What you just explained is there's a lot of social pressure. Well, don't add to the social pressure.
Of course.
Be cognizant enough to understand that the person you're next to is attempting to change themselves, so support them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give them peer pressure, because it's only going to make it that much harder for them.
Yeah, of course.
So that's a good takeaway as well.
For sure. And I definitely think that's one of from my experience in the Navy, that's one thing I learned that I'm actually really fortunate that I've learned it, is, that help people out, help your brothers out, It's so easy to get wrapped up in you, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? This sucks for me. But, the more you branch out, help your friends, help other people in your business, the more of that the little inside voice, so to speak, kind of nulls away. It just goes away. That little devil on your shoulder that's telling you not to do it, or just to hit the snooze button one more time, sleep in for another 20 minutes. Don't go work out.
Exactly.
It's one way to help you kind of detest mediocrity in a sense. So.
Push yourself into a different avenue.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And the more people you speak to, you'll have more conversations. You'll get more comfortable explaining your side of your vision.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you talk about it, the better you are explaining it, the more it'll happen, because the person that you're speaking to believes in what you're saying, because you're good at saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they are going to then provide to you opportunities as well. Oh, you know what? I know somebody that does the same thing. I think you guys should connect, or something like that,
Yeah.
So you never know until you get out there and try it.
For sure. And it builds your self-confidence. I mean, the biggest thing, like we were saying, is you got to believe in yourself.
For sure.
There are going to be times where it's uncertain, and that's just kind of how life is. And even though if I take a play and I take a detach from where I'm at right now and look at my life scenario, things may not be as great as I wanted them to be or where they should have been, but applying that positive mindset and realizing that hey, I'm awake this morning. I got my workout in. Ran up the mountain, I feel good. Had 3 square meals a day. I ate breakfast, it's all right. It's not too bad. And
pay attention to your surrounding as well, is a piece of advice I would give. If it's a really nice day outside, absorb that.
Yeah.
Look at it and say, wow, it's a really nice day today. The sky is really cool. Or start identifying with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are part of it. It's important to understand that there is a surrounding. And it provides you a lot of, to me personally, gratitude.
Yeah.
I could be having a bad day to myself, but if it's a beautiful day outside, it brings me back.
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to say something. That's all right. It'll come back to me.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll get the juices flowing here soon.
Oh, okay. So when you're out and you're networking and you're explaining what your new vision is, right, and you're getting better at explaining it, what it does is it gives you more confidence to then explain it to people who are closest to you. Mm-hmm. The peer pressure side, your current social network of people who are questioning what you're doing. Well, now you can explain it in a better fashion. The better you explain it, the more they'll believe it. And then when the people around you start supporting that avenue, that's when it starts to become, everything starts to become a reality at that point.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. Again, it's not easy. You have to get out there and do it. Once you get better at it and you're more practiced, the people, that's the way that you believe in yourself.
For sure. Yeah. So, I guess the biggest thing, figure out what you want, start making your goals, and then start working to live your life to detest mediocrity. Don't let it go by with you, and as long as you have your head in the right place and you believe you're doing the right thing and you keep pushing forward and you put in the effort to get it done, then I think right there you've beaten it. You're a step ahead. You're a step ahead of the Joe Schmo that doesn't want to put in the hours to get it done, and that's just rather hit the snooze button or rather not put in that extra effort. So I think for me the biggest takeaway, if I was an outside looking in, would be just detach from yourself, put yourself in perspective, and then figure out how you're going to crush it. Because ultimately, once you tell yourself you're going to crush it, and you believe you're going to crush it, and you gain that positive mindset, just go out there and crush it.
You're going to do it, and then you're going to start surrounding yourself with other people that are crushing it as well.
Yeah, of course.
Or support you crushing it.
Yeah. A lot of crushing going on.
It all starts to fall in line the more and more you practice.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's definitely a strong mental game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy. So I invite people to the challenge.
For sure. Well, yeah, man. Thanks again for your time. I know you're kind of busy, so I'm glad that we're able to coordinate time to sit down.
This is perfect.
Sit down and kind of, dwell our thoughts out there.
I was presented with an opportunity that's in line with my mission vision, right? And I took advantage of it, but I still wanted to connect and have this conversation because it's important.
Yeah, for sure.
And I hope that whoever's listening understands as well that we're just normal bros being bros.
Yeah,
just shifting our mindset up just a little bit. I mean, we still do our same activities that we used to, but we're just adjusting our mindset this much,
Yeah.
And it's paying off greatly. So I can feel it personally,
Yeah.
I feel the growth and I feel the confidence. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks again. And then for everyone listening, thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you guys liked from this podcast, what you didn't like from it, and look forward to working with you. And again, this is Thomas Williams at Truzy. If you guys want to ever get in contact with him or figure out what I'm all about, feel free to hit us up on LinkedIn or social media or what have it. But yeah, thanks for listening.
I'd like to email you a reading list, things that I've been reading, kind of where that reassure my thoughts and the path that I'm on.
For sure.
So if you'd like to share that with anybody.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Shoot me an email and we'll make it happen.
All right, Chili. You have a great day.
All right.
I'll see you soon.
Take it easy, man.
Peace.
See ya.